Graduates, all gone. I see you. I see you. How is everybody doing? Hey, Karen, what's up? Hey, Seneca, Alexia, Ingrid, Unique Treasure, big up yourself. Valerie Douglas, big up yourself. Kathy Wallace, big up yourself. How is everybody doing in a class? Let me just share this because my admin don't know that I'm live. Just bear with me 1 second. Bear with me 1 second. Let me share this. All right. Yeah. Right. So, oh, everybody on a Tuesday. I hope everybody is doing fine. Big up on yourself, those of you who have liked up the live upon entrance into class. Yes. We have a few little things to talk about, some of which will be a bit controversial, but we pride ourselves over here in providing information that is based on facts, as well as exploring any topic that we see fit to explore. And we do so with an open mind. You understand? Yes. Today is going to be a faceless live, but I want you to focus on my voice because of what I have to say as opposed to what I look like. I'm sure those of you who are new to my channel are probably already following me on Facebook. If I don't want to see my face for true. But the rest of us are not used to this. Yes, big up yourself, Kathy Wallace. I see you. Antoinette Harris McDonald, I see you. Yes, man. Valerie, big up yourself. So there's this whole charity has always been something that has been hot on social media, particularly social media in our diaspora. Everybody is paying attention to which charity is doing better than which, who is doing what when it comes to charity, whether or not a charity is registered, whether or not a charity is legit, if it's transparent, if it's dodgy. Everybody is also concerned. I couldn't care less about any of all of that. Everybody is on social media for their own agenda and their own purposes. But I'm gonna share with you. Hey Norma, I'm gonna share with you a recent change in charity laws that I think is quite significant. Given the fact that there are some charities that are definitely less than transparent in operation, be it they're registered or not. Okay. And it's interesting that with all the chit chat and the nonsense that we hear going on social media, nobody seems to pay attention to what the legislations are saying before opening their mouths. And keeping abreast of not just gossip, but facts is very important. So we all know that in 2023, the government of Jamaica has basically said that it is very important for all informal charities to become registered. They're in the process of making it imperative. It still has not been made imperative to do so, but it is in the process of becoming a formal requirement. I need you to understand the difference between a past bill or law or act as opposed to one that is in development. It is something that is in development. Big up yourself, Chanel. It's not yet set in stone, but this is what the government wants. Okay. But in terms of compliance, there are certain developments in the regulatory landscape in Jamaica that are really focused on the improvements of the standards in terms of transparency, accountability, and corporate governance in charitable organizations, right? So these new obligations on registered charities that came out through the charities regulations in 2022 are aimed at making sure that all of the registered charities are compliant. And this compliancy is about making sure that there is anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing going on. At least, making sure that these things are paid attention to. So in that, it's really about making sure that a charity is open to being audited. Their financial statements for the previous financial year are prepared by a registered public accountant. So in other words, a man can't sit down and do them own books. Them have to get somebody who is registered as a public accountant to actually do their books. Also, there needs to be a detailed plan of the charitable activities that are carried out by the registered charity. And they have to do so on a template that's provided by the charity's authority. So in other words, what is the aim, the function of such charity? It has to be put together in a detailed plan. There has to be administrative and operations management policies and procedures for the charity. Now, while it has not been specified what needs to be included in these policies, the policies have to be developed and take into account whatever the operations or the focus of that charity actually is. A charitable organization that is not registered under the Charities Act is prohibited from using any name, title, words, terms, grammatical presentation that suggests that the charity is registered. So in other words, be careful not to have an unregistered charity and be passing it off as though you are registered, okay? June Sanda, big up yourself. Colleen, I see you, right? Chanel K, yes, man, long time. So they have to be careful not to pass themselves off as a registered charity. Have to be careful because such things are against the law, okay? Now, there are obviously obligations of being a registered charity in that you have filing obligations. Within 3 months after the end of each financial year, a charity that's registered must submit to the charity's authorities audited financial statements, the auditor's reports on the use of the donation monies, whether such use is in accordance with the charitable purposes of the charity or not, the fundraising activities that took place, expenditure plans for the financial year, and of course, the annual report of the charity. And the annual report tends to cover your annual general meetings, your AGMs, and whatever is discussed and whatever comes out of that. A registered charity must change its auditor at least once every 5 years. So the same auditor can't be auditing you for longer than 5 years. And this is about making sure that there is no building up of rapport between the charity owner and the auditor, so that, you can grease the auditor palm and say, yo, me not do certain things this year, just pass it off like me do it. So it's about making sure that there is a fresh auditor every 5 years. Big up yourself, Debbie. So these are the requirements of a registered charity. If you're not seeing these things happening, it is likely that a charity is not registered, right? Now, when it comes to transparency and accountability, there is an obligation imposed on registered charities to maintain donation records. And this has gotten stronger since the movement of the government in 2023 to make sure that everybody gets registered. A registered charity must issue receipts for every donation received and keep a record of all donations that have been made to the charitable organization. These records must be retained by the organization for a period not less than 7 years from the end of the year of assessment in which the donation was received. And failure to comply is an offense. So you've got to keep a record of all of your donations received for 7 years at least. In terms of the duties owed, where a registered charitable organization is conducting a fundraising activity, it must provide the donors and the general public with accurate information in relation to the donation and the fundraiser as required by the regulations. A fundraising activity refers to any activity undertaken to raise funds to further its charitable purpose. Now, this is where the government has introduced a new regulation that particularly charities that are new to registration need to pay attention. Right? Right, yes, so it get complicated. It get harder. They have introduced something called a protected charity. This is a new regulation, it's a new concept. A registered charitable organization that is found to be at an increased risk of being misused or exploited may be, upon a recommendation by the charities authority, designated in writing, become a protected charity. So in other words, if the charities authority sees this, because you can register, you have your things them together, you have your board, you have your whatever, your memorandum, your articles, your aims and objectives. But being registered and you think all is well, all is wonderful, the charity authority can come to you and say, listen, or at least they won't come to you physically, but they'll write to you and say that you are a charity that we have under the microscope. Be it that you may be registered, which is a good thing, there is now a second hoop for you to go through. You have to now have the title of a protected charity because we suspect that your charity is at an increased risk of being misused or exploited. In a year, the designation of a protected charity by the minister is made on the recommendation of the Charities Authority only after a risk assessment has taken place. Once a risk assessment has taken place and there is interagency consultation carried out with the Chief Technical Director of the Financial Investigations Division, the Commissioner of Police, the Tax Office, the other relevant departments, agency, or public body, by my language, I don't know me talk about body for, but Jesus, public body. That's okay, what the payment. Anyway, they can then reach out to other organizations outside of government agencies to investigate you. So say, for example, you are collecting money via a money transfer organization. They can approach said organization to investigate you, to investigate your actions, how you're receiving your monies, and so on and so forth. Once they have collated all of the registration, I tell it a laugh. It's in all of the registration information, plus the investigation information, plus your activities information. They put it all together and determine whether or not there are any loopholes in your transactions that will determine the high likelihood of you being exploited for money laundering or the T word. I don't want to say it too many times. TERRORRISM. That's how it's spelled. TERRORISM, yes. So if they think that you are at risk, you become a protected charity. The recommendation will be made where the charities authority has reasonable grounds to believe the charity is vulnerable and likely to be at high risk for the commission of money laundering, the financing of terrorism, and other financial crimes. In light of the heightened level of risk in the case of a protected charity, Regulatory controls are then imposed on protected charities, such as the requirement to establish and implement programs, policies, and procedures to detect, prevent, or mitigate the risk of being misused for the commission of money laundering, the financing of the T word, and other financial crimes. Some of these controls include those applicable to financial institutions and designated non-financial institutions. So you have to have some policies and procedures that shows that you are aggressively circumspecting your charitable organization from the potential of these things. A protected charity must appoint a nominated officer who performs management functions. Listen, me I tell you to say, what me I try to tell you say, is that it's not just being a registered charity alone people need to be concerned about, because if you get flagged and you end up with this title of a protected charity, you have some backside hoops for jump through. So, a protected charity must appoint a nominated officer who performs management functions, responsible for overseeing the implementation of and compliance by employees of these programs, policies, and procedures. And this person will make reports to the designated authority. So that person is going to be the immediate go-between between the authority that is checking and balancing that charity and the charity itself. This includes reports of any suspicious transactions that may constitute or be related to the commission of money laundering, the financing of the T word, or other financial crimes. So this manager that is going to be employed, that person's neck is on the line, because I'm going to give you a scenario for break it down to you. So, for example, somebody reach out to the charity, right? And they want to donate. There has to now be checks and balances to find out where you get your money from. 1. 2, when them say, okay, it's from my salary. Or them say, well, me no work, but I have some money saved up. And then when say, well, where is those savings from? Oh, it's from years of hustling or whatever. I mean, I don't think anybody would say that, but just in case. And them can't give no set origin for these funds. There has to be some kind of red flag system in place to say, whoa, this person is potentially laundering money through our charity. There has to be a separation between straightforward donations and those where there is a red flag. And those people upon whom there is a red flag placed, these names will have to be compiled in a report. Debbie, may I tell you? These names will have to be compiled in a report to say, okay, we have in fact received donations from X person, Y person, Z person, but we could not verify the source of their funds. Remember, this act is not saying that people will have charity to stop taking money. Then I say that, what they must say is that they need to flag these people, these suspicious transactions. And then once it is flagged and this information is then passed to the designated authority in a report, then said persons are going to be investigated. So even if the money are come from foreign, then they will have the know-how to contact the relevant tax offices or, financial institutions to say, said person was flagged for donating a certain amount of money that is suspicious, and they're from your region. Go and check. I want to hear how the government is busy now ring fencing even donations to make sure that they're getting their fair share of taxes. All right. If you wish to ensure you do good the right way, your registered charitable organization must remain compliant with the Charities Act and regulations. You hear me? So really, it is about an awareness of the additional regulatory obligations and controls that are now imposed. Okay? If you get that title of protected charity, it means that you are at increased risk, once again, of being misused or exploited. And once the designation is made by the minister, and usually on the recommendation of the Department of Cooperatives and Friendly Societies, the DCFS, who have carried out all the relevant risk assessments and interagency consultations with the Chief Technical Director of the Financial Investigation Division, the Commissioner of Police, the Tax Office, and other relevant departments, agencies, or public bodies. They will then make sure that you go through these hoops. It is only on a basis of reasonable grounds. Now, my concern with this is the following. What is going to be considered a charitable organization at high risk of exploitation and money laundering? What is the criteria? How is this criteria going to be made aware to the public? Are they going to limit the knowledge of the criteria so that basically it lulls certain charities into a false sense of security? And when they spring upon them, that's when they'll find out. I suspect the latter. I doubt very much that the government is going to make it clear to the public that these are the criteria under which you will fall if you are going to be declared a protected charity. Because that might be counterintuitive when you think about it. Counterintuitive in that you're giving people an opportunity to clean up house. So really and truly, it is about how do we inform people about this so that they can brace themselves? Because I highly suspect that these kind of things are going to target the smaller charities. Yes, they are. You're not going to hear of Salvation Army becoming no protected charity. You're not going to hear of School for the Blind or any of those becoming a protected charity. I bet you. They are going to target smaller registered charities. Now, of course, you know what this means. A lot of people are going to become discouraged in registration. But once again, I highly implore and encourage that you don't use this as a deterring factor, that you still go through the processes, especially if you know that your charity is above board and transparent, right? But if some of these charities have been doing things and collecting and have no record and all of these kind of things, then they are going to be flagged. And of course, they're going to be given time to get their books in order by auditors. But whatever they already have on the books in record at the moment is going to be collated and used against them. So it's not just about registering anymore. Them charity where register and are considered to be a risky setup, they're going to have an additional hoop to jump through. An additional hoop. And as I said, it is pretty certain to me that the implication is that the smaller charities are going to be the ones that suffer the most. Now, failing to comply with the protective measures, just in case you don't know, if you do not comply with the protective measures that's set out in the regulations, it is considered an offense. And said registered charity can be liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding 1 million Jamaican dollars. So it can go right up to 1 million, but it can't be any more. A protected charity is required to enforce the similar know your client's requirements as those done by a financial institution. All right, for example, when I opened a Jamaica National account, right, I had to declare all of my assets. I had to declare where my money was coming from. I opened in the UK so that it could be accessible in Jamaica as well as here. And I had to make sure that I showed them evidence of my bank account here, where my monies was coming from. Being self-employed, it's a little bit simpler. I don't have to do pay slips and things like that. But it have to be obviously a business account to show that this is where my money is coming from. You understand? Yes, with clear records, showing clients paying in, etc., etc. So you're going to have this thoroughness when it comes to knowing your clients. Certain checks and balances in place as much as possible to show that you are aware that your donor is coming from a transparent place. It must not, as in the charity, must not form donor-recipient relationships. Wanna hear this? Listen to what I just say, you know. It must not form donor-recipient relationships or carry out one-off transactions unless it maintains procedures in relation to identification and transaction verification, record keeping, internal reporting, and carries out the appropriate training of employees who handle the protected charities' financial business in accordance with the regulations. It must not form donor-recipient relationships. So in other words, donors and recipients must never communicate under the new regulations. Recipients and donors must have nothing to do with each other. Why? Because if they do, this is an avenue for exploitation. It is also an avenue for laundering. It is also an avenue where finances can be gone unaccounted for. A whole heap of things can go wrong. Donors and their recipients must never communicate. No relationship at all, according to the regulations. Hallelujah. There be. With this offense is considered an offense. And the said registered charity, once again, would be liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding $1 million. Wanna hear? The regulations also outline other obligations such as keeping up-to-date donor information, maintaining records relating to electronic funds transfers, as well as carrying out identification procedures where a person is or appears to be an agent of a donor. So some serious record keeping have to go take place. This matter. The designation of protected charities reflects an increased focus on the integrity of charitable organizations. By imposing these stringent measures and controls, by imposing these stringent methods and controls, the regulations aim to protect the charitable sector from being compromised and to ensure public trust in the charitable work being done in Jamaica. By complying with the Charities Act and regulations, a protected charity is better able to protect their operations from misuse and to ensure all its efforts are directed solely to the charitable purposes. Understanding what is required of your protected charity is therefore very important. Big up yourself, Vanessa. So, once again, we need to pay attention to the legislation and the things that are required of not just a registered charity now, but of a protected charity, because it can happen to any of those small charities that are out there. I highly suspect these are the ones that will be first on the government's list. They're the first because they're generally used to operating in an informal way, and they will have a lot of bad habits that will need to be ironed out and removed. right? In order to become compliant. And I'm sure the government is aware of that. So there would be a measure of leniency in its application. But once you have gone through the auditing process and your risk assessment has taken place, there can be no excuses. You have to follow through with all the steps needed to regulate yourself, to get yourself in line. A very interesting law indeed. Very, very interesting law. But one thing is for certain is that it is definitely geared towards protecting donors from potential fraud and exploitation. And also making sure that any monies that are collected are used transparently towards its aim and objective. But likewise, it's also about making sure that background information is collated on donors so that the respective financial institutions, be it in yard or abroad, are aware of the movement of monies that are taking place between donor, organization, and recipients. It's ensuring there is a tax trail and accountability so that nobody is left out of pocket, and that includes the government. Debbie, tap up the things. Debbie say you think they're not sitting back watching what's going on with these churches. They're watching. They're watching. But I want you to understand, graduates, that a lot of this is actually inspired by greed. I need you to understand this. It's not just about compliancy, legality, blah, blah, blah. It is inspired by greed. And I need you to understand that this politics that's behind it is a bit more than just, oh, let's just stop them from money laundering and thieving. No, it really is about making sure that they get a cut of the pie. Understand that. It is about making sure that they clamp down on the shadow economy and they get a slice of the pie because they are seeing that communities are coming together and raising millions. Where are these millions coming from in this cost of living crisis? How are they able to do so? Despite the fact that we've hiked up the prices on literally everything from egg to bread. Something must be amiss. We're missing out on something. Somebody's not paying their taxes. So don't think that it's just benevolence towards donors and recipients and charities alike. It's far more to it than that. They don't want to be missed out when it comes to their taxes, right? And don't forget, taxes don't just go into social and public needs. It also goes into the pockets of politicians. So yes, I wanted to share that that law with you. That is it, Ali B. I wanted to share that law with you so that you're very aware of what is taking place. And speaking of politics, I'm going to move on to the other part of our discussion tonight. You don't know we do it. Little bit of this, little bit of that. And I wanted to look at the whole hullabaloo around Vybz Kartel. So Vybz Kartel, as you know, made a stunning appearance at the political campaign of the People's National Party. Now, I did it as a video. I was having fun with it. But I learned that apparently Vybz Kartel, from his origins, has always been PMP. So it's not a surprise that he's a part of this platform. We also witnessed King Curry, yeah, the Maroon King present at the event. People had a lot to say about it. You know, we thought that Maroons had their own institution. They didn't do politics. They never mix up in a political bangarang. Outcomes embedded, blah, blah, blah. But don't forget, the Maroons have their lands under threat by the current Jamaica Labour Party. So, you know, they are going to be reaching out to whatever political sources there are to assist them. And if the PNP has promised them security, you rest assured that he's going to turn up. It's not a surprise, right? But I want you to listen to this brother. This brother, him dep on TikTok, and his posts are not very popular. One, it could be that he's a madman. Yes, somebody who's a raging lunatic. and we're not quite sure where him coming from. Two, maybe somebody is silencing him. But I still want you to take a listen to what he has to say about Vybz Cartel. And then we're going to go into the discussion. All right, so just bear with me 1 second. Let's see if I can pull him up here. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me attach it to my Bluetooth so that it's louder. All right, thumbs up if you can see my screen. I hope you can all see my screen. Thumbs up if you can, right? Okay. Good, good.
Play with me, you know. Angel, I know why you play with me, you know. A bad vibe call the body up, you know, and blackmail you, you know, to set him free, you know, and trick you, you know. And you know that, and me know that, and him know that, you know. And me, not afraid of Vybz Cartel, you know. Not even for a split second, you know. Vybz Cartel and Shensi and Spice, you know, and Tammy Lee, you know, and Sean Storm, you know. And Lisa, you know. Shauna Campbell, Intense, you know. And Miss Matt, all them I got pay for warm to my family, you know. And my money I want, you know. Money I want in Andrew Wallen. Give me my money and stop playing me where I hide and I cover up in Andrew Wallen. Give me my money in Andrew Wallen where you get tell for hide and cover up in Andrew Wallen. Andrew Wallen's my
Saval, I will name Andrew Wollins. But anyway.
no. I'm tell you put £1 million in my bank account, you know, so I can start myself out, you know, and get my lawyer them, you know. Put my money in my account, I already go in my bank account, you know. I go in my Halifax account, you know, I want my money, you know. And Jamaica National, you know, you play with me, you know, think you can delete my accounts. You can't delete none of my account and remove it. You better search on the whole lot and look for Jeremy and Delroy Johnson. Because I him this. Because them take out the whole of my family one by one and sick them out. The whole of Vybz Cartel family have AIDS. Anna have AIDS. Vybz Cartel Shorty, the whole of them have AIDS. And I come in and I give everybody AIDS. I put in a food and I put in a drink. And I try to hold me down, make me look like me crazy. And take out my money and have me live a charm. And then build a circle around me in England. That is what they come to England do secretly. What them come to England secretly, I put a circle around me. So they try to kidnap me. Because me the last one left. So they try to get me to the picture and kidnap me and put me in one basement. So nobody can find me. Well, first I'm going to make everybody think I'm mad, I'm crazy, I'm going to exist. So that's what they try to do. Make you look at me mad, I'm crazy, I'm going to exist. So Sancho Spencer exist. So they can try to kidnap me. Make them try that now. Try to come kidnap me in a Vybz Cartel and say, try it now. Send Intense come now. Send Shencha, send Spice now. Send when they have criminal friend, we bring come to England. We make girl married and bring come to England secretly, you know. Send all them come to Vybz Cartel and say me I go run. Try that now. Just try that and see now. I'm afraid of you. Try that and see. I have to give my money for Vybz Cartel. And Jamaica National, I have to give my money. One of them, because Auntie Olin, me, no, you're related to them in another bank there, you know. And them are your friend, you know. Don't play with me, Auntie Olin. Run my money, you know. I wrote me a lift man, you know. Run my money and stop playing with Auntie Olin. Run my money. Run my money, Auntie Olin. You're your friend in the bank. Even bank people. Run my money and stop hide it and cover it up. Run my money, no. More of my money. A million Jeremy and Delroy Johnson. I'm saying, run my money. Come my family dead off.
Good Lord, have mercy. It doesn't stop there, people. Let me pull up another one for you. Because, as I said to you, this man is clearly mentally disturbed. But I'm listening carefully because you know them say sometimes mad people talk some truth mixed up with the madness. All right. So just go and listen.
Remember, I tell you, Angie Olin, every murder of Vybz Cartel commit before him come out. And every murder him commit while him come out that upon year and you and him make secret deal. I mean, no, you and him make secret deal and whole heap of millions of money. We'll probably give you whole heap of millions of dollars we'll probably give you. For come out and you're afraid of him. And you let him out after you know me, I email and I tell you everything about him do to my family. I'm email Jamaica National about my money. And he make the bank hold on the whole of my money, hold on my money, and hold on me the boy, murder off my family, and sick them off, and poison them off, and poison off my mother, and get out of jail. You got to do Angie Olin. You help him. You're a criminal like him. Angie Olin, I want my money. Watch Angie Olin better. Watch, yeah? Let me not get my money because you help cover up everything and every crime. That's where you cover up Vice Cartel crime. Because you're a partner in crime. And Jamaica National Bank and Vice Cartel a partner in crime. That's what they do. They hold my mother account. And that time, if you look at me dead, I'm in exist. And my mother, millions of it belongs to me. You have millions of dollars in Jamaica account in my name that was given to me. And the whole of the steal it and share it up. The whole of the government all over steal it and share it up and cover it up. And delete all of the accounts. That's what I do. The whole of them have millions of dollars in my account and the whole of the government right across everywhere. I delete account and I hide the evidence and the proof. I want my money. A Vice Cartel me, I come for your family will murder me. I set up a family and murder them off. And poison them off and sick them off. Me, I come for your Vice Cartel.
Sir, if he murder you, you wouldn't stand up yourself, huh? And
everything, every girl want to get AIDS in England, I put in a food and drink. And I send a friend and come fuck them off and give them AIDS. I take revenge for one of them. One of them me I take revenge for. They can pin the crime for me. All the crime now we are coming. Near Kingsbury ambulance station. And people go missing. I have your Anna, niece, your niece Anna, we are coming a prize, we're missing with that. Me, I take revenge for everybody Vice Cartel. Because me, know you have a wicked criminal for dead. You're for dead. And Andrew Wally, you pay for everything. And Jamaica National, you. Me take a bank there from you.
yeah,
I'm not getting away my wealth. Want every bank account one after me. Every account. Every account. You're doing what you know, bomba cloud. Stop playing around with me. Let's go to suck your mother.
and him done. Well on, all right. So we hear two so far, though. So we hear that one, yeah. Yes, my dear. Go on, listen. Like I said to you, you know, clearly mentally deranged. Pick sense out of nonsense, though. Listen.
So like you don't kill off my family now. I use what you trick one side to help. We are gonna kill Sean and them and kill Miss Majam and hang them and dash them body. So I tell me say I kill over 45 people and get away with it by Cartel and your friend them. You kill Shana Campbell Munch with their Birmingham and her grandmother Miss Majam and dash them body too. Cause you have a habit to make people body disappear. So you disappear body man. The boy Vice Cartel you are dead. Me tell you are dead for everybody where you kill and everybody were dead. Shall I missing you them living at 14 effort court where one of them friend missing. You make one of them, you make Anna your niece, make one of them friend missing. Along with other people are working, I pay for that Vice Cartel. Now bring you down. And all your family better get them lawyer and go to the police station right now and talk the truth. Because I'm going to destroy the whole of them. All of them run got Spain with the money. I run got Spain on a fake visa. And I take visa from England and run got Spain the highway. I bring them, I bring them God Jamaica. Come I destroy you. I know say you are gonna try to kill Sean and try to dash her body and dash her mismatch body. Cause that's your habit. Kill people and dash them body. And hide them body. Me and your Vice Cartel. You gotta pay your friend Shense know and Spice know.
Hear this.
And you when you kill Sean and mismatch them and dash them body, you cover it up. When you now cover it up, cause them that work with you know. And then when I try to kill them, you cover on a crime.
Ah boy. Jaja. Our people have got mental health issues that are so unaddressed. But just to link this to what I was saying previously, where I said to you that the government is looking for their cuts off of everything. What I suspect is happening, big up yourself, Kerry. What I suspect is happening to this man. This man is homeless, him living in homeless conditions, meaning that him always up on the street in England. Yeah. Him have a flat, you know, but him more or less bounce boats. It's clear that he had some money in a bank in Jamaica, which he cannot access, be it because of his mental condition where he can't focus to even fill out a form, or as we know, Jamaican banks are known to take monies out of what they consider to be dormant accounts and they go unaccounted for. Yes? Me think say the loss of money, madam, and yeah, me not like, because in every video that the man talk about, in every video is that the man talking about. All him concerned about is the money that has gone missing from Jamaica National. That's all him a talk about. You understand? Anyway, we don't done. Let us go. There is still more. Me play that one here.
Because of that you do to me, Put things in my food and drink will slowly sick me off, I mean, say if my drop down and dead, me that look normal. And that you do to my mother. And that you do to her sister them at Jamaica. And brother them. Put poison in the jump and put AIDS blood in the jump. And slowly sick them off and them I drink the jump with up on top of the roof or store water each day. And I know I said in night. And when me I want them, they not notice it. Because when I stop me from one them,
Linda.
in the jump where them I drink the storage jump and store water up on top of the roof. Let me tell you this Vybz Kartel, I'm not afraid they're gonna suck your mother. And everybody in the music group will suck your mother. Shente, Spice, Tammy Lee, Sean Storm, Lisa, Shorty, and all of your gang members them help you suck on the mother, suck on mother, Andrew Olin. You responsible for my family dead too. And the people that own the bank are your friend them. Who own the bank or any connection with them after UK or anybody in England, run to them family and tell them anything what they want to tell them. The bank tell them. Any rich family member want to have own a bank. Let me tell you this. Uno responsible for my family them sick off. Tell you that from now. And this now got done. I'm gonna have to get my money. I'm gonna tell you more. I'm a first $1 million to get my house in England to clean myself. And I'm gonna check every bank account. Every single bank account. Me I come for. Me I come for you and you holding at the bank first. Because Uno let out Vybz Kartel and Uno never communicate with me. And every email I send the bank and send Uno, ignore it and the people in the office in the Jamaica National delete it. Vybz Kartel can have enough time to come out and commit all them crimes that we commit. And I commit more crimes. While Vybz Kartel in jail, he might commit crimes at Jamaica and I commit crimes at England. I send out orders and get away with the Vybz Kartel, me and your war, pussy wall. And this I don't suck your mother. Everybody have a stand aside and watch me bring you down. Everybody. Have a stand, all your family them have to run go court and get them lawyer when me come for them. All of them have got to talk the truth. Everybody was surrounding you have got to touch. I'm not back down. And if you tell me so shot me or not stab me, I have no fear. I have no fear. You think say you're God in this world, Vybz Kartel. Me and your blood clot God. That me I try to tell you. Wow. Me I tell you, I did them daddy. Because you are not my daddy. And you call yourself the teacher. If you are the blood clot teacher, Vybz Kartel, and me are the principal. And when me call school, every teacher have bow down with blood clot with children in that. Pussy old boy, Addy. If you are the blood clot teacher. And if you are the world boss, and me are the boss of the world where you're living at. Pussy old Vybz Kartel. Suck your mother. You're going to kneel to me. All of your friends them, I'll get what them deserve. Just watch you go on. You think this done? Hey boy, Jeremy then, boy, Boy, you call yourself then, yeah, you're the real then. A pussy old boy, me and you too. You rush on, we hack the whole world, and I watch everybody on CCTV all over the world. You're the boy that Jeremy Bennett. Watch me out and run. No world. No world where me not living, where me living now, and can't run.
You see, let me tell you something. You know, Cartel have to watch all them people here. Now suppose Cartel come to England, say I come perform. And buck up on this here. Eh? Buck up on this here. This individual look like he would take it to another level. You guys know what paranoid schizophrenia is? Paranoid schizophrenia. And as I said to you, in every single video, he has been talking about how his money has gone missing. His money has gone missing. And I don't know. Listen, I am not going to say the madman don't have some facts in all the things that when said. Clearly the things he's saying, a lot of it don't make sense. You understand? But some of it, though plausible, is far-fetched, right? He seems to have this connection with Vybz Kartel, this obsession with him. And under whatever terms and conditions that he may have known this man in the past, because it is not impossible that he knew Vybz Kartel in the past. It is clear that his mental health has depreciated to such that he can't be in their company anymore. So there would be a lot of bitterness attached to whatever it is he's going through, plus his loss of finances, which he repeats every single video. He repeats it. His paranoid schizophrenia did not just start with Cartel. And if you go to this man's account on TikTok, if you go to the very first video he did, his paranoid schizophrenia is talking about being watched via CCTV cameras. The fact that there are people who have got access to all the CCTV cameras, even in Jamaica. He speaks specifically about entertainers, producers who have access to this, who are hacking people's phones, monitoring information, blah, 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 all the kind of crazy stuff that a paranoid schizophrenic would do. But there are triggers to things like this. And I find it particularly interesting how his mental state has latched on to the criminal past of, and I put criminal in quotes, the criminal past, allegedly, of Vybz Cartel. And how he uses this story to vent his venom. And then, even the non-scientifical nonsense that he's spilling about the fact that there's AIDS in food and drink and in water and stuff like that. We who have any kind of medical knowledge knows that the HIV virus cannot survive under such circumstances, right? And is not transferable like that, which is why you can have an HIV positive chef. Exactly, right? So it doesn't work like that, right? But in his mind, all of this is a part of it. He could very well be positive himself. Why it is that he keeps referring to this and the fact that he's, Cartel sick off the whole and family, including him. You understand? All I'm saying is this. We have been hearing murmurs about how Vybz Cartel is, a criminal. The People's National Party should not associate themselves with him. How can they associate themselves with a criminal? And this is all I'm going to say about this. Vybz Cartel has gone through a legal procedure, process, where he has been found to be, well, not he has been found. His team, the prosecutors have been found to be negligent in terms of how they handled the case, right? And as such, he was given his pass for freedom. Now, the undeniable fact is we are still to know whether or not he is guilty. It's not known. We don't know if he's guilty. We don't know if he's innocent. It's not like he's come out and addressed. No doubt he has been told not to revisit the subject in any public hemisphere at all. So there is always going to be this question in the back of certain people's minds, doubters' minds, also supporters of the people who have passed on, mind that he is in fact guilty, even if he has now exited the prison system. Guilt or innocence has not been proven, and that is a fact. So to identify and align with a personality like this is always going to cause controversy. The question is, do politicians care? It really is about the popular vote. And the popular vote is a thing. You better believe it. Don't think for a second that the Jamaican government is the first to use this kind of approach. It isn't. There are several all over the world. Politicians will pull on popular artists, people who are loved by the masses, and use them in their political campaigns. It will not be the first, it will not be the last. So while it may have looked a bit exorbitant and extra on the Jamaican stage, because we don't really roll like that, PNP has taken it up a notch in terms of what they've seen international campaigns do. So by doing so, they have managed to secure the popular vote because, hey, if you love Cartel, and right now it's all about loving Cartel, and you see Cartel on the stage with these PNP politicians doing his thing, regardless of the fact that he has always been PNP, because right now he's a buzz name. The party has made a very strategic move. Now, to me, it looked very bling bling and very ghetto. I'm not gonna lie. To me, it looked like straight ghetto, right? But guess what? Where is the majority vote? It's in the garrison. So as much as we may not like, some of us may not like the aesthetics, the optics, it does not deny the fact that it is going to be an effective strategy to secure the popular vote of the masses. It is very unfortunate, of course, that once again, we see a political party more or less catering to the basic desires of the masses for fun, enjoyment, food, those kind of things that just satisfy immediate needs, and using that to manipulate an audience, because that's what they're doing. It was very strategic of them to bring out the Maroon King, because yes, okay, the Maroon King is in discussions with the PNP. because he wants to make sure that his land and his people are okay. Does that mean that he needs to be on the stage? Ask yourself this. Whereas Cartel's very presence is about stage. Is the Maroon King known to be on the stage of people like this? No. So in itself, it was very strategic. They're saying, look at the people that we have endorsing us. So what's stopping you? If the very Maroons who said they don't have anything to do with our politics are working side by side with us, they must trust us because they don't normally trust institutions. So we are the most trustworthy. If the man that you guys rallied to come out of prison for how many years is here making you know, say straight Gaza, then if you say Gaza, then you have to say PNP. Strategic, effective to secure the popular votes. It may make those who are very much policy driven and looking for the deeper contributions to Jamaican society cringe, but the PNP know what they're doing. It's happening in American politics right now, of course. It's done here in the US too. Definitely, yes, Democrat, yeah, they use Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift goes session like Trump, don't it? And then Trump this her. I said that Trump saying prefer Britney Spears. And Britney Spears didn't say oh. I can't remember one of them. Right? So yes, okay, it was very bling bling, it was very dance hall, it was very, excessive, but they know what they're doing. I just hope that despite doing all of that to secure the popular votes, the People's National Party are serious about the changes that they've proposed and that they know that they have to put in the work. As I said, right now, in my personal opinion, I'm not saying that this is the opinion of my graduates or anybody that's here. In my personal opinion, I genuinely think that the Jamaica Labour Party is going to struggle right now. But let us see how the thing sets. As I said, I don't really do politics. And I wish I could vote from here, but I can't. So I saw the thing set. You understand? All right. We're going to move on now to the final part of the show. And this really is about TikTok beggars and what it is that it's all about. Now, for those of you who were on my live previously, I discussed a case. Well, it's not a lie. One of them episodes that we made it do with a little bit of this and a little bit of that, where I spoke about Landale. Yes. So Landale, for those of you who are unaware, is a TikToker who is 16 years old or 15, one of them. Landale basically is a member of the rainbow community. Yes. And as such, he was leaked on video for participating in lewd acts in front of an adult male, a fully grown tough man, right? Fully grown tough man. This fully grown tough man take Landale video and leak it all over social media with him jankra self, him jankra spirit self, in the words of Ping Ping, jankra spirit. One, because Landale wasn't going to go any much further with him, and I guess he wanted more out of the thing. Now, of course, I spoke about the fact that, was it alive, guys? I can't remember. I spoke about the fact that Landale's school had excluded him after that video went viral. And I spoke about how disgraceful that was because basically the school I leave Landale for go sell him combat in order to survive. Anyway, subsequently, Landale has been getting a lot of support by fellow rainbow community on TikTok, namely Destiny. Destiny has reached out to something called the Rainbow Railroad that basically supports members of the said community to leave Jamaica under the heading of asylum seeking. Nicki Minaj, come on board. Come on board. Nicki Minaj was all about helping this young man to achieve his exit from the country. One, because he can't go to school. Two, because people just are threatening him left, right, and center. So he can't come out of a house. He feels threatened, he feels unsafe, and he wants to leave. You would think that Landale would jump on this opportunity more than anything else. Hold on 1 second. Let me just connect um my. Sorry about that, guys. So you would think that Landale would be very happy to be getting the support of Nicki Minaj to get himself out of the country, be it to Canada or the United States of America. There's been lots of recordings floating about if on an earphone itself. You understand? One heap of recordings are about with Nicki Minaj and this boy and whatever, whatever. The latest update, if you haven't already heard it, is this.
Don't worry yourself. Listen, all you have to do is follow the instructions of the lady. When I just spoke to the person, they told me that there were a few things they already told you. And that you didn't really, seem to want to do things their way. You kind of want to do things your way. So I was asking you. I was asking you, are you ready to wake up in the freezing cold every morning and take your ass to school when you get to wherever you're going? Spangy said the gifts in my watch. Yeah.
Yep. Imagine, Nicki Minaj is saying to this young man who was one, exploited, two, he was expelled from school. Are you going to go to school? Wake yourself up, go to school every day. If I help you with this procedure, are you going to go to school? And that's what I asked the young man. Now, remember, I said this young man said he wants to leave Jamaica because his life is under threat. And he's going to use the asylum heading to get out. The white lady attack, and I swear, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I swear to God, I think Landale has ADHD. The teacher in me has spotted too many red flags. I can see it in how he communicates. Somebody just has to distract him and he's gone in a different direction. So, we have all of these undiagnosed needs amongst our students. And I don't know if it is that teachers don't necessarily know what to look out for, or do they have an effective referral system? But it's very clear, or I should say, professionals that are designated by the government to look after students like this. But it is clear to me that Landale can't focus. So all him a focus on are the gifts. Talk truth, no Kerry. All him a focus on are the gifts when this woman a talk to him about school.
Yeah, watching this summer keep
What?
Some keep a gut red or something. So
London,
I want better for myself.
Let me text it. Let me text it. Let me text it. So let me text it because that's where you want. That's where your attention is at. Let me start just texting it. Hey, London.
Nicki full of foolishness,
Where are you? Ready to wake your ass up in the freezing freezing cool. Every pussy clot, where every pussy clot day. Okay. Can you pin my comment, please, Londi? Lond. Bobo. Can you pin my comment from the bed, please?
Somebody in the box.
Okay, read a comment. See, I see that.
Champing, I know.
You're there.
No, read. I said read.
Yeah, look, me not see come up here.
Now you can't see the comment either?
You're there.
Huh?
When I see no comment, them say no comment came through.
May I go write it one time? Yeah? May I go write it one more time? Yeah? May I go write it again? And then I'm gonna show you then I'm gonna show you the other side of me. Hold on.
That is it.
Dear Landale.
The comment filter. The comment filter.
Look, dear Londale, do you see that one right there?
Awesome.
Do you see the thing that says dear Londale?
Landela play blind.
No, but you're hearing everything I say about the comments, though. But when I was asking you about school, you wasn't hearing me.
It's filtered like filter.
Here they the live filter. Oh my God.
So, Londale, you just had a full conversation with me about whether or not you could see the comments. Yet, every time I ask you if you're willing to get up every day in the freezing cold and take your ass to school, you haven't been able to understand that question or hear that question. Huh?
Silence.
Yes, I am ready and I'm willing. I'm ready and I'm willing, Miss Nicki.
No. So this whole time you've been ignoring me. Boy, good night. Goodbye, Londale.
No, me never did I ignore her. Never that ignore her. I just to keep her freeze or something.
And that is how Landale lost the support because Mr. Broshaka, you're very late for class. That is how Landale lost the support of Nicki Minaj. Now, this child is not serious. He heard the question more than once. If him ready for gas school. It take 3 attempts for Landale to come up with an answer that yes, him willing to do anything. Landale no one gonna school, Nikki. Landale don't have no interest in going to school. Landale want go far and go do big man things. Remember, this is a child who has obviously exposed himself to a certain degree of abuse and is trauma bonded. Him want go far and go broke out. You understand? Him want to go to foreign to broke right out. He don't want to go to foreign to be under no jurisdiction for go to no school. He want to go and be free and live in life and do as much video as he want to do. Because in a foreign 16 is adult. Enough. You understand? So oftentimes a lot of these TikTok beggars, they come on and they want to do X and they want to do Y. Now I'm gonna share a story with you because I almost fell prey to one such TikTok beggar. She came on TikTok and she was lamenting and telling a whole story about how her baby passed away in the hospital after going through certain treatments from her partner, the baby father, and the stepmother. And that today she can't get no death certificate for know what happened to her picnic, and she's very convinced that the stepmother and the father do the picnic something. I was so touched by the story, people. I reach out to the lady and I say, all right, listen. We're going to try help you forget the information that you need to let you know whether or not you need to press charges, right? Okay. Me tell her, say you need to go UE, you need to go ask some questions, you need to get the death certificate, you need to go register office. I want the things she need to do. Me ready for help the lady. Me send money for her for go, for transport and all these things. Yes? Every minute when she's supposed to go at UE, he's sick. He might feel pain. She was pregnant, you know, with the next one, you know. He might feel pain. He's sick. He not reach yet. Peer delay. Then me hear she have to go take coach. She have to go take taxi as well. First, let me get the money for the coach. She have to go take taxi to get to the court station. Me say, all right, me go send you the money for the taxi. So you can take the taxi and get to the court station. And you can take yourself to UE. You can't take another taxi. Me send extra. Can't take another taxi. Go from the court station in a New Kingston and take yourself to UE Hospital. Send all of the extras in the people. You know, say up to now, this woman don't reach. And every day, me say, you know what? I'm not going to chase her. I'm going to sit back. I'm not going to chase her. I'm going to sit back. Me sit back, she go quiet for a little while. But of course, the begging in her fly back up. And the money when me give her done. So she come out back on the live and all she depend is, oh, this happened, and she needs to get there. So the whole story resets again. So I go up on the live where she depend and do this begging again. And I say, hey, what's it not, Clark, girl? Me name send your money for go to university hospital. How is it that you are still on here begging and you get money for that in block me fast? Me not lying. Not lying. And somebody message me and say, oh my God, it's not just you. Somebody else also telling me that they sent money for her to go and do the same thing. And then they come on with these sub stories all the time. She don't want no money to go find out what happened to her daughter. Two is a picture and video I put up with she, their funeral and Ray. And me not see no war broke up between she and baby father and stepmother. Everybody that they are ball over a baby. Schemers on TikTok. People who use sad story to get your pockets. After that, I say, I'm not give no more, not 1 penny more, I'm not give to nobody on TikTok. Because that coming like some get scam right this. And it's not really a scam, but it's a scam because the little child did die. So it wasn't a complete lie. But it was all a manufactured story in terms of her wanting to go and find out what happened to the child and Ray. And I'm telling you, she did a series of TikToks. I done the baby father, I done the stepmother, I cussed them, you know. And she turns off the comments after she puts certain posts up. But during the live is where we ended up communicating and in each other's inbox. So you see, when you see sometimes these things happen to people, and we come forward and say that we want to help, and then we end up getting them kind of response like what Landale gets to Nicki Minaj. It puts us off some of the real cases that are out there and stops us from helping. It really hardens your heart because some of these TikTok beggars, they don't want better. Them just want immediate needs satisfied. And we are now generating a community, a society of immediate needs grabbers. That's all I'm interested in. Them want, they here, do, they want clothes, they want money for food, for full them belly for today, tomorrow, and probably next week. But they're not thinking, I need education to help me to get out of this situation. I need a job so that I can stop beg. You understand? The first impulse is always to take to social media, to bring you a story that will make your heart break, or to capitalize on a story, because this is what I think Landale is doing. I think Landale is capitalizing on a story. So Una try to tell me, say, listen to me, you know. Landale, who always, from as far as I can remember, Landale being on social media, he has always been in British slang term camp. That means effeminate. He has always been a flamboyant boy. Yes? So it can't be something in the community where a surprise say, he might do that with a male. Right? And you're trying to tell me that instead of the community saying, well, it's a big man that do that to you, that no right. Them are turned on Landale. So we ignorant as a people, one. And two, is it surprising that he has done that? It isn't. I would like to see some evidence of the fact that Landale can't come out of the house. I would like to see some evidence of the fact that his life under threat. Is he even posting up anything on TikTok to say, look what that person coming in my inbox, come threaten me and say? I'm telling you this, people. This is a key opportunity for him to get asylum. And he's going to work it in any way possible to make it clear that he needs that. I just truly hope that he's not trying to do, because I'm more than one time we see out here in these social media streets. Gay man and get asylum and then turn around and married. No comments. Yes, married to woman. No comments. Are there with woman, breed woman. No comments. It wouldn't be the first. Some of them are too samfi and too chopper, lifestyle oriented. Nicki was, listen, you had a star Landale who could more than afford it. Only for Nicki to find out, say, when you reach out for help from the Rainbow Railroad people, them tell you what to do, and you want to do your own thing. You're not serious. Soon you're going to come to your platform to say, wanna help me get some money for buy a ticket. Wanna help me get some money for buy a ticket for go to Canada. Me need some money for go to Canada. You see somehow, wanna make it hard for people who genuinely are suffering and genuinely need help. Genuinely want a better life. Genuinely want to do things with their life, to have ambition. Yes, with enough fake stories that are used to generate income out of susceptible individuals through the sympathy card. And that is why, as much as the charity laws are being changed for the more stringent side of things, I agree with the government. And not because I want them to get any further taxes, but because I want people to not be exploited. Anyway, graduates, big up on a nice clean self. Thank you so much for attending A Touch of Class with HTK. Make sure you like up the live on your way out. And this is me gone. This is your girl, Head Teacher K. Bye-bye.